Alright, all those thoughts. Oh gosh. Hello everybody. Let's see, is this working? Alright, let's see. This is supposed to be working. Alright, it seems that my camera is not working, so video capture. Let's see. Screen capture or video capture? Or window capture? So this one goes off, this one goes on. Alright, well, I need to figure out how to do this. And I don't know why the camera is completely messed up. Maybe it's still connected to something, or I don't know. Okay, so welcome to everybody. I'm really sorry for being late. Something else came up, and I had to be in a different meeting. This is Nikos from the Phalcon team. Hello to everybody. Welcome everybody in these challenging times that we are facing right now. I'm just trying to get caught up with all the chats that I have and everything. So let me load up YouTube and just being able to see the comments and all that stuff. So let me just get this, and I didn't want the blog admin. I want the blog and this, and then up with all the chats that I have. Alright, there is some sort of a delay between the stream and what I'm talking about. So hello to everybody that's waiting again. I see Izo is here, Oleg and Wajdi. I don't know who else is there. So welcome guys. Again, I'm really sorry for not being here a little bit earlier. It was not feasible for me to be here as expected, so it had to be just a little bit late. So, alright, let's get PHP Storm somewhere here. and then we can just hang out and just say stuff, whatever. uh, so all right. I'm just catching up on certain things on Telegram. Actually, I should try and make a quick post that we're live, I think. Yeah, maybe. So let's see. Social. Alright. Alright, so apologies for the delay. And the stream is live. Come and say hi. Alright, so let's copy this. Let's paste that. And then where's Vivaldi? Post it on Parlor. And then Gap. And then let's see. Let's post it on Telegram. Next. Send. And send now. Ta-da! Okay. Alright, so we made that announcement. Hopefully we're gonna get a few more people coming over because we just didn't have stuff ready in time, so I apologize for that, guys. I was thinking today, hey Shell, hi. I was thinking today to maybe just have a chat and talk about whatever you guys want. But in the meantime, while we're waiting for topics to come over, what we could do is we could start going through the issues that are in Phalcon and just try and maybe fix one or two, and because I've been crazy busy. A little bit of an update for you guys as well. The whole team has been really busy. We got all caught up with all this craziness with the Wuhan virus and everybody's just staying in. So you got Sergey, who's stuck at home with his nearly teenage kids. So I'm guessing it is going to be challenging, where he has to go and work through his laptop in an area. You have Anton, who also is in Portugal, and he's caught up and he's stuck there, and for I don't know how many weeks now. His company told him just stay at home. You have Ruud, who has been trekking through Europe the last few weeks in order to manage to get to the Netherlands and get there. And also Ruud is hit hard right now with work and all that stuff. And then you have me, that I have been working from home, so I'm kind of like used to it. But still, I'm not used to having the whole family at home all the time. All right. So we're all trying to make um, uh, to make the best of the situation. I'm pretty sure um, your situation is something similar to ours. You're stuck at home. You're taking care of your loved ones. You're trying as much as possible to be careful when you go out to do some shopping and all that stuff. So let's put a little bit of a positive spin here. We have not been very active on the application on the project. Mostly Anton has been the one that has been pushing the envelope for the dev tools and incubator. Admittedly, I haven't had time to just see anything really. There have been times that I would just see the notification coming in for an issue or something like that, and I just wouldn't even have time to do anything because there's too much going on at work, right, and at home. Oleg, absolutely go for it. Tell me. One other thing. Hello, Kevin Paul La Madrid. Hello from the hello to the Philippines. Happy birthday, Wajdi. Many more to come, my friend. And Oleg, in the comments you see this hash. How to generate a key like that using Phalcon random component. It should be in the security. Let me quickly have a look here. And this is for everybody. If you're ever in doubt on what's going on, and sometimes how to do things, and let's say it's the middle of the night and you can't find somebody to ask, you could open the tests. And the tests are going to tell you what's going on. There's one of those things here. I'm trying to find it, Oleg, so give me a second. I don't remember where this thing is, but we definitely have the ability to do this. Was it here or was it in the crypt? Maybe it was in the crypt. Actually, the best way to find this is to do a search. So X99, let's see. Nope. X98. Alright, so here's the sign key. It's in the response cookies construct. Alright, so we don't know how to do this. I really don't know exactly. Hey, Callan. Hello, buddy. Hello, Jin. Hello, Alexander. Hold that thought, Oleg. Callan says, well, I would definitely love to chat with you guys. It's 11 o'clock in the UK. I have already had a few pints. Home, of course, I just want to say thank you for everything you're doing. Big hugs, guys. Thank you, Callan. Tomorrow or whenever, have another one for us. Sadly, it's not gonna be in the pub, but you have a benefit there for having the pints at home. You might not have the good company that you might have in the pub, but you don't have the bell. What was it, 10 o'clock that they used to ring the bell? That was when I was in the UK. And people would just rush and take the last pint and just drink it. Within 15 minutes, everybody would be out. That was never my thing. But if you're at home, you don't have a bell. Unless the boss says otherwise, wife, girlfriend, and all that. But thanks for stopping by, man. Hope you're doing well. Hello, Alexander. Good day to you. I don't know if you're from the Eastern Bloc. Your name kind of like shows there, or you're from down under with a good day. Hello, Jin from the Philippines. So we have also Kevin. He's also from the Philippines. So hello guys, welcome. Chat whatever you like. This is just to get our minds of things and just try and do some stuff here. Um, so yeah, Oleg, give me a moment. I'll try and find it. I remember seeing it clearly somewhere. This particular string, it was somewhere. Um, I'm pretty sure it's in the document somewhere, but I don't know exactly where it is. So let me try T4. So it's in the crypt component. That's where we use it in the crypt component in the documentation. That's where we have that particular string. So the question is, where do we generate that? Okay, I guess, to be quite frank with you, I have no idea. I haven't used the different printouts to see how we can get that string, and that might be a good thing to do now. So why not? This might help to create a random string in Phalcon. Yeah, like we can try that. Hello, Julius. Welcome, buddy. So let's have a look. Let's have a look what we can do with all this. Okay, so all right. So we have our application here, and what we're going to do is we're going to try and create random strings. All right. So first things first, we need a terminal. Give me a moment, guys. Let me just exit from there and then go here, clear, and then bring this terminal over here. Okay, so we need to go to the Phalcon. Okay, just in case we don't have anything. Alright, let me generate the... Come on, man, really? Is this an old terminal that I have? Should be. Okay, here. Yeah. It's an old terminal. I fixed my paths. In case you guys are wondering, this gen command on my terminal, what it does is it actually goes to the relevant folder and runs Zephyr generate, and then well, before that it runs Zephyr full clean, Zephyr generate, yada yada, and then it goes into the ext folder of my folder over there, and then it compiles the extension, and then it comes out. And the reason I'm doing this is because when I'm developing in Phalcon, I just need to be able to print out the commands, or to recompile very quickly the whole extension, and as such be able to see the functionality, whether I fixed my bug or not, or whatever bug I might have. So this should be okay in a few moments. And in case you're wondering, all these are kind of like normal. To see all these crazy warnings and all sorts of bits and pieces, they don't affect anything. The first time I went through this, it was just, I was scared. So this is okay for us. All right, so let's see what we can do in terms of creating crazy strings like that, and random generated stuff. So what we can do is, let's say we create a new file here while this thing is compiling. Let's say pass php, whatever. Okay, anything. So we don't really need anything other than just to generate stuff. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go to Phalcon here, and then we're gonna go to crypt first. So that's the crypt interface mismatch. Okay, that's one. We open it here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cheat a little bit. So I'm gonna copy, because I don't remember all the commands and all that stuff. and then I'm gonna paste there. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna keep only the methods. Okay. I don't need a namespace for now. I'm gonna need the Phalcon crypt. That's the only thing that I need from here. I probably need these guys. Let me just comment them out. I don't need any of these. Probably I'll need the cipher and the length, IV length, and the hash algo. Alright, so constructor tells us what the signing is. We're gonna need a decrypt and then we have decrypt base, and of course encrypt. And then encrypt base 64. And then get available ciphers. Meh. Don't need that. Hash algos, don't need that. Get cipher, don't need that. I should be okay with those. Set cipher, hash, set key, padding, signing. So these are pretty much done. I don't need this. Okay. So that's one. So this is what I can use from crypt, and also I'll need the security one because that one is the one that will create that it would generate random stuff for me. So you see I have all sorts of bits and pieces here. So let's copy the class again, and then we're gonna go and grab the random and see what we need from there. Now granted, I could have waited and I could have gotten the stuff from the ID stubs, but yeah, I'm just not, I'm really lazy-ish. So where am I? Security, and there's my random. And let me get this. Okay, let's copy that, and then let's close those. Now, this is one of the things that I usually do. If I'm in doubt, I would actually go to the Zephyr code and see what's going on, what kind of implementation I might have, something that would interest me or stuff like that. And if I really don't understand something, I just go revert to the code and kind of like read it. Public function ideas with regards to looking for this code, Toby, to generate this. Right now, no. I'm gonna tell you in a minute when we get to this. I just need to make sure that we have everything. That's a token. We don't care. That's the session, and that's the request. That's fine. That's a check hash. This one checks the token. Probably won't need those at all. And then compute HMAC maybe. Destroy token, definitely we don't care about that. Get default hash, get random bytes. This one gives us a random object. That's not bad. Get random bytes, session token, get salt bytes. Get, and this one is the hashing password with bcrypt. So yeah, what I was saying is that I actually go and look at the code on what it's doing so that I can understand better what we're doing. So hey, welcome buddy. Welcome Rude. And Rude, read your Telegram. I sent you a message and you never replied. Okay, Toby, I tried to implement Bootstrap, blah blah hell, no forums or any help. Glad I got it through. It was hell. Um, Implement Bootstrap in what, buddy? We have used Bootstrap with Phalcon. It's kind of like nothing to it. You just set up your view to be like that. Wajdi, this is Zephyr, but you will look as you look at this, you're gonna see a lot of really common things. Um, so we see return this instead of return dollar this. It's extremely easy to understand and get into that. That's why I'm looking at the code. That's what I was telling you. So Jin, Furikus, I have a question. Does Phalcon have a factory-driven dependency injection container? I don't know exactly what the factory-driven is. It does have a container. It's based on the inversion of control. So you just store stuff in there and then you just pick them up whenever you want to. Certain things are available to you with regards to the DI container. When you have controllers, the DI is automatically and services are automatically injected into that controller. Sometimes if you have components, meaning classes that are implementing the injectable, but I don't know about this factory-driven dependency injection. I don't know what you really mean by it. Now, the DI container can inject automatically certain services for you if they exist and can do that resolution. So it is doing some sort of lazy loading, not exactly the way people would have liked it to, meaning I just instantiate an object and it knows where the dependencies are and it picks them up and it creates them. Or you have you register a factory in your DI container, and based on what you pass, then the DI container uses the factory to instantiate objects. That one we do not do. The latter one definitely not, if that was your question. So if you want to expand a little bit, let me know. I don't know if I answered your question. So yeah, Wajdi, this is just Zephyr. It's that easy to understand. A very familiar way of doing things. All right, so we have some give me a sec. Okay, sorry. Okay, a fastest PHP framework. On that, is Phalcon fast? Yes, absolutely, it is. It is faster than any other similar frameworks, and I'm putting this. It is very important to compare like for like. If you compare Phalcon with Zen Framework, Kohana, Fat-Free, Laravel, Symfony, it is faster. If you compare it with AMP-PHP, Swool, or anything like that, it's not. But on the second example, you're not comparing like for like. AMP-PHP and Swool, and others use asynchronous operations. AMP-PHP uses the generators, and the Swool is an extension, so it uses more coroutines and so on and so forth. So there's no way for Phalcon or any other synchronous framework to catch up with those guys. Okay, so if you're going to compare like for like, meaning exactly the same framework with exactly the same components, same process, same web server, same synchronous process, yes, Phalcon is faster. Now, could it become faster even more? Yes, absolutely yes. And that's what we're working on. We're trying to get it to a state where it's going to be extremely important. it's going to be extremely easy to work with Phalcon. That's why we made strides in getting it into pair. Sorry, so you can really install it very quickly with Pickle. Um, Give me just a sec. I'm dealing with somebody that it's a little bit stubborn here, so excuse me for just a moment. I just need to reply to somebody. It's just when you're talking to some friends and the phone rings and you just get riled up. I really apologize. All right. Okay, so I heard your explanation, but I haven't caught up. What I mean about factory is similar to this one. Okay, send me a link, Jin, when you can. Or something to Google and see. I mean, I don't know which one it is. All right, so let's see the examples here. So from what I see, it's different hex strings here. We have UIDs here that we can do. Let's see. I need to find something here. How do you do the /t or slash something? Is it hexdex or hexdec? No. I need a method to show me hex. Is it deck hex? I think. It's 2F. So, what was that slash? Where is that slash coming from? I'll have to look at it. Wajdi, yes, version 4 is for the ODM. We mentioned this before. TacticX has already done the work. It's in a separate branch. And actually he has a branch on his own. The only thing that we have to address is whether we're going to be able to take advantage of the BSON interface of Mongo and how we can do that. The minute we introduce the BSON interface in one of the Phalcon classes, Zend Engine assumes that this is something that you need, so it will try and find the interface in memory, at which point Phalcon will not work unless you have the Mongo PHP extension loaded. And that, of course, is not good for a lot of people that don't use Mongo. It's good for the people that do. So what we don't want that restriction for people. We want to find a solution where we take advantage of the newest driver of Mongo with BSON and all the other goodies that it can offer us, but we want to make sure that we don't hinder other people. So the ODM is there. We just haven't released it yet. I actually need to reach out to Tactic X and just see whether we're gonna do it. Maybe 4.1, maybe 4.2 tops. I'm trying to get a couple of bugs sorted out. I've been talking to Sergey, who has been doing some work. Again, guys, we're all in this kind of it's a mess in general. All of our lives have actually shifted and changed and all that stuff. So there's not that much time to devote on anything other than taking care of yourself and your loved ones. And you know, Phalcon is just the same as anything else. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to keep a balance. Once things actually start slowing down and becoming a little bit more towards the normal side, we're definitely going to try and have more frequent either hangouts and or releases, because we're all going to be working to the best of our capacities to the project. But still, right now we're not there yet. We're gonna get there soon, I guess. I think. Okay, so what I was thinking of to the answer to the question of Oleg with regards to that particular string, I think the slashes are a little bit confusing. I don't see any slashes with regards to these methods here. Let me see if, let me go back. Okay, so we have random and we have base 58, okay. And then we have base 62 and 64, yeah, these are different base ones, and then this is the safe version of it, and these are the bytes. This might be interesting. Generates a random hex string. That might be something that we could use. This one generates a number. This is a UID, yes. And then we have another base. This is protected. Okay. So this is for the random. Okay, so let's see. Alright, so this is new random. And let's see. Echo. So what are we going to use? Base 64. Okay. Actually, let's put all these guys up there and let's see what we can do. I don't know if it's one of the let's put, I don't know, 64 characters for the length. Characters, no padding. Oops. Alright, let me just pull the screen a little bit up so you guys can see better. And hex, let's see, 64 maybe. And random number. And UUID. Okay, so if I do all these as echoes, it should give us some strings that we can work with. All we need is to put a space here somehow. something like this. I don't know if this is gonna print nicely, but let's see. Worst case scenario, it doesn't. So, alright, so let's run this thing and let's see what we get. So PHP, pass, PHP. Actually, we have an error here somewhere. And I need to change my command a little bit. So yeah, it's not an error, it's these comments that I have, and then I need to get rid of this. And one last thing to do. Alright, so before I run this, I need to do PHP. I need to load Phalcon, otherwise it's because it's not loaded for me on purpose. Alright, so this is the result that we get. Okay. So the hex is this. It's quite a long string. Basics 58 and 62 are okay, but we don't really have that /x or something like that. I don't remember how you call that /x. This part here. Let me just copy it from what Oleg wrote earlier. It was something in these lines. So he was talking about what is this xb1 xd and all that, this particular string. Honestly, I thought that this was a hex string, but it probably is not. I'm not 100% sure, to be quite frank with you guys. Usually if I want something really random, I just either do the hex or some other stuff around here. I mean, the base 64 safe is one of the best ones because it is big. You can just put 64 in it and it will give you something good and random. But the other ones are interesting. So if I go here, and you see it's always giving you different random stuff. Now, one thing that you will notice, the base 64 safe, this one here, if you saw this part does change. You know, it gives you this and then this, but the very interesting thing is that the last 3 digits are always the same. 9PQ. You see? I have no idea why. So, so maybe it's something that they're doing. But this hex here is definitely something that you could look into, and figure out whether you're going to be able to use that particular methodology or not. I mean, if you reduce the length, so if I do 32, immediately you see it's a little bit shorter. It's not as short, but it's definitely shorter. I mean, 16 is probably gonna be in line with all of these guys. Actually, it's not, or it is. Oh, sorry, I was looking at the wrong thing. But yeah, this is the hex here. This is the 32. And this is the 16. Alright, I usually use the 32 parts, and you know, it works really well. It's relatively strong password. The only thing that the only thing that I have to say is that it's one thing for you to generate something for your services. For instance, you might want to generate a password for your SQL server, right, or for your database or whatever. Then you might have the other side of things. You're not the developer, you're the consumer. So you go to your bank and it tells you, oh, put in a password, and then you try to put something like that and it tells you, no, we do not allow more than 16 characters or more than 8 or something like that. I remember American Express a few years back, it's well over 5 years back, they only allowed 8 characters for a password, so it was crazy. Okay, the goal is to understand how to generate a good key using a random component. I thought if in the docs using a good key like that, it's trying to understand how to generate it. This is the easiest way to generate the random Oleg. You just generate, instantiate the object, and then call one of the methods. Personally favorite, the hex. You are gonna get something. If you want to do something with it, I mean, you can shuffle it or do anything like that. If you're really interested in how it works, hold that thought. Give me just a sec. Where's the hex? All right. So it's array shift unpack h something in this bytes, and this bytes is what? Okay, it returns random bytes. Okay, the equivalent of that for you to get the random thing would be so that would be array and shift unpack this, blah blah blah, and then there, and then close this. So all we need is the bytes, and the bytes is this. So random bytes of something. So what you could do is you could say if bytes less or equals than 0, bytes equals 16, and then all you do is there in your unpack, here, random bytes of bytes. And what is going on here? There's something wrong. Only variables can be passed by a reference. Okay, so I forgot about this. So what we can do is pick that up and then say unpack equals this, and then random bytes, so that's mine, and then array and shift unpack there you go. So all we have to do is do another echo and see how that works. And then other hex, and let's see, my hex. So if we run this, alright, so you see here we have the hex that comes in from the random component, and then we have our hex, what we did. So they both do the same thing. So the random component will give you the hex, which is pretty much the same thing that what we're doing here. As you see, it's just 4 lines of code, And if we really know 100% that we personally will never, ever, ever send a key that is less than 16, or we want to hard code everything to 64, we get rid of this parameter, we get rid of this parameter, and then all of a sudden we just put a 16 here, and then your code becomes this, which is much, much smaller than anything else. So there's definitely ways that you can do different things, and you can see here, this is the difference of the two methods that we can use to generate passwords. For other areas, what you could do is use, if you don't want to do it yourself, you can use Phalcon, of course, but you can use one of those random generators that are available on the internet. There's also password services. For instance, one of them is OnePass. The other one is NordVPN Pass. The one that I use is called Bitwarden, I think. Yes. Yeah, that one is the Bitwarden. So I go here on the generator, and then it generates a password for me, and I can choose what I need here or not. Now, the Phalcon security one will not give you special characters. It will not. So it will just give you only the A to Z and 0 to 9. But and with this one you can actually do really cool stuff. I mean, you can just play around, include number of words. You can just say 6 words. Alright, so that's your password. Lather, 0, Uncharted, Overeater, Slate, Astride, Creation. So there's no way in hell somebody's gonna remember that. But anyway, yeah, it's one of those things. So, oof, talk too much. Hey Hash, hi. Is Phalcon has no CTF? What is CTF, buddy? What do you mean by CTF? That's what I mean. I don't get the acronym. Let's see. So this is the voting part. Fails / opening door. What does that mean? Sorry, I don't kind of understand what the fails is and what the opening door might be. And guys, the X-assist attacks. Hold on a second. CTF. CTF 101. Okay, alright. It's I've never heard of that definition or acronym. I know what XSS is, I know what reflected XSS is, and so on and so forth. Cross-site scripting. I didn't know what the CTF means, right? So capture the flags. That's what it means. Never heard of that before. uh, Capture the flag. It's a challenge to find. All right, so it's ctf101.org. That's a little bit of a search does help. So this is the what Hash and Yas is talking about. It's called Capture the Flag, or our kind of computer security competition, and then you're trying to pretty much find security vulnerabilities and all that stuff. I know that a lot of big applications and products are actually offering really good money to people that are finding vulnerabilities. For instance, for those that know the Telegram messaging application, I know that they actually offer money up to $20,000-$30,000 to people that have found vulnerabilities, talked to Telegram or any organization so that those can be fixed, and then the company actually rewards the hacker for being a white hacker, meaning I found this, I'm letting you know so that nobody exploits it for you, and we're done. And that's pretty much it. I know that they do that. We have never done anything like that in terms of capture the flag. As far as cross-site scripting and any other attacks of the sort, those are mostly coming from the users. So the developer is primarily responsible for ensuring that their application is as secure as possible. So I'll give you an example. You cannot rely on that the framework is going to do everything for you. You can't. If you think about it, you write some code, further down the line you find a bug in your code, right? And then you fix it. Well, when you get a framework, any framework that comes in, somebody, Nikos, Rud, Sergey, wrote this, who are just like you. They're humans, right? And they will introduce a bug, inevitably, no matter how many good tests might have, they will introduce a bug, and until they know that the bug exists and they can fix it, or you can look at it and fix it, then it's going to be okay. So there's no way that you can rely on the fact that, Nikos, for instance, is perfect. No, there's no way. Nobody's perfect. So this is why we have all these techniques to help us ensure that our code is as perfect as possible. So automated tests, reports on our application in GitHub, and so on and so forth, right? So we do not have something like this that capture the flag, but we do have something in the line of CSRF. I believe it is in the security, and you can also do something with forms. And I know that there's something in. All right, so first things first. The security component allows you to create tokens. Okay, the random tokens. We saw this a minute ago here in this terminal. So you create all sorts of these crazy things here, long strings. It's extremely hard to predict. What you can do also is you can introduce some sort of CSRF cross-site something. I think the F is forgery or something like that. But you can introduce something like that in your forms, especially the login form or some other form that you put a password in, so that they do not get into the brute force attack and all that stuff. the Vocura application contains examples on how you can do that, but the key is, let me load up the Vocura code, and I'll show you just real quick. So the Vocura code is, let me see, form. I have to look at the forms. There you go. So under the controller we have the form. So when you create your form to get, hey, hi Anton. When you create your form, that will be able to collect your data, whether it's the username and the passwords and all that stuff. In our case, in Vocura, we have this form here that collects a lot of data, the name, the email, and so on and so forth. But if you scroll down a little bit, you're gonna see a very interesting hidden field, and the hidden field is this here, right? So what happens is we're creating a hidden field here that will be included in our HTML, and then we're utilizing the security component to get a new request token. The request token is going to be a random string that has been generated inside the security component. That random string gets stored in the session of the particular person, and then when you come back, when you submit the form and you come back, the session gets checked if it's valid, and if it's not valid, if the session that was posted, the string that was posted from this hidden field, is not the same with the string that you have stored in your session in your web server, then it produces the CSRF validation has failed. Otherwise, it allows you to move on. So this is a way of ensuring that you don't have this bombardment with automated scripts to throw all sorts of random keys or random text to try and log in into your system. So that's one reason right there. On the other part of the XSS with regards to JavaScript or stuff like that, that's entirely up to you guys, whether you allow all these things or you don't. Now, the most important thing for you to ensure that your application is okay, I mean, you might make mistakes, that's perfectly fine, but if you do follow a certain piece of rule, in most cases you're going to be fine. And the rule is very simple. You get junk in, you make sure that you clean it. So anything that your users submit to you with forms or any other method through APIs and all that stuff, you have to ensure that you clean it up. So when you expect, for instance, to receive a number, an ID of sorts, make sure you cast it. You cast it as an integer because that's what you expect to get. If you get a string, make sure you filter it. You strip the tags on it. You strip HTML characters and so on and so forth, depending on what you want to get and what you want to achieve. So anything that the user sent you, the assumption is that it's bad, and you need to clean it. So you clean it, you put it in your database, and then you are able to present it back. And this is how we can do it. Also, hash and yash. If you look at the Vocura, in the examples that we have on GitHub, you will see some really good techniques as to where to put validators, whether you can have throttling of login and all that stuff, because you really don't want people to try and log in, load up your page with something in the likes of, let's say, with curl, right? So they will request the page through curl. As a result, they will get the CSRF, and then they will start sending you all sorts of random passwords. Well, if you see somebody trying to to send too many attempts, you can throttle them. You can just slow them down at a random interval, so the next page will be returned to you, let's say in 1 second, or half a second, or a tenth of a second. So that's how you do that. And yes, absolutely, I meant cast all input and output. It's not necessarily only cast, but it's also sanitize. And the sanitization method you know best. So if it's a number, I usually go with an integer. Actually, I go one step further. I always use absolute integers. So it's ABS int instead of any int. So whatever the user submits, for instance, /orders/view/1, right? That one that I get in my orders view, I sanitize it as an absolute integer, and that's how I know that it's always there. If it's a string, it's a string. And actually, what you could do is in the filter component, we do have the filter somewhere here, don't we? Business, maybe? No. Filters. There you go. If you use the filter component, there's a lot of sanitizers here, and the built-in ones are really easy to do. So this is a filter that we can use here, the ABS int. So it's going to give us the absolute integer. Imagine that somebody sends /order/view/-1. So what would -1 do to your application? Maybe it will behave, maybe it won't behave. So just sending ABS int, you just ensure that whatever gets into the depths of your application where it does something, it is an integer, and it is a positive integer. Same thing here, all numbers or alphanumeric, a Boolean value, which handles true on false and all that stuff. So you can take advantage of all these filters and make sure that you sanitize your input as best as you can, right? Also, filter var is your friend from these are all the filters, by the way, that we have. Now, these are not only filters, they're also sanitizers. So so that maybe the name was not carefully thought when I was doing that, because these things are not only filtering data, they also sanitize it. So to give you an idea, the replace parameter here is actually sanitizing it as well. So it doesn't filter it, it just creates something else out of it. So yeah, so that's all there is to it here. Use whatever you like from here, use your own stuff, but always make sure that you sanitize any input that is sent. And I definitely agree, hash, if you send a negative number, you do get free credit, but if you get caught, then you have a problem. So that's not that's interesting. So okay, all right, let's have a quick look here. I wanted to do this with add column type binary, but var binary for MySQL. I think this can happen. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it into this, and I'm going to set it up to 4.1. This is not a difficult thing. The only thing that I'm worried about this part, the var binary and binary, which is what Olegatra is asking, is what is the relationship between the binary var binary and other systems. I know definitely SQLite does not have that, but I'm pretty sure that Postgres has something similar. So we need to figure out what the binary var binary is for Postgres and adjust the dialect there so that it does understand what this thing is. So yeah, we can definitely do this at 4.1. This is some sort of a micro remove extra slashes should be false by default. All right. So I need the community to vote on this. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go here, and then we're gonna put micro. Does this work? Control B. Oh yeah, it does. All right, so we're gonna put that, and then I need to put the nope, this. Okay, and then I need to put that. Should be false by default. So if we do this, does this work? Yep, it does. Oops. Alright, so we got that. So we comment there. Hey Oleg, hi buddy. That's good that it's you. So we got that, should be false by default. So this is tracked in that. Please vote if you want this feature. Alright, so we're going to close and comment here. And now we have this application micro remove extra should be false by default. That's the thing. So we have the NFRs over here, and the reason we do this is we end up with hundreds and hundreds of issues that are all NFRs. Okay, so new feature requests. The problem that we have with the new feature request is that although something might seem very very nice and very cool for Oleg, for instance, Hash might not like it, or Anton might not need it, right? So because we're a very small team, we have to focus on a few things. First of all, the framework has to be fast. At any given point, it has to be fast, and I'll give you an example on that later on. Second, the philosophy of the framework, the way we want to move the framework forward, should be in line with what the NFR, what people submit. For instance, we're never going to be Laravel. Simple as that. We are Phalcon. And that's it. That's how we do certain things. And Laravel does things differently. That's perfectly fine. Good for them. Now, if Laravel does something really nice that will benefit our framework, we will adapt it for sure. And we will adapt ideas from other people that are brought in. But we're not going to replicate Laravel in order to make a faster Laravel. And that's not how this thing works. And I'm using Laravel because that has been the most discussed thing that we had through the years. Laravel does it this way, you should do it that way. No, it doesn't work that way. So that's the second reason. And the third reason is if people do not want something, it's not going to happen. All right, it might sound a really great idea, but if people don't want it, there's no reason to do it. Okay, we do have something here for you to look into. Actually, let me initiate. Actually, I will initiate it in a little bit. The build, I was gonna say. So if you go here in our documentation, right? This one is the Vokura tutorial, but if you go here where it says contributions and then you put NFR, new feature requests, you're gonna see the how you submit an NFR and all that stuff. But the first link here, it says the list of NFRs, right? So if you click on this guy, it's gonna give you a little bit of an ugly table, but hey, you know, we're not perfect. It's a tiny bit of CSS that we want to build here. So you see here a list of all the new feature requests. And you might be wondering, okay, well, where is this coming from? So if you look at this guy here, This is the NFR request list vote. And if you really want to find this, all you have to do is just click issues, right? There it is. It's all the way at the top. It's pinned up here. So we open this, and once this thing loads, you will see that we list every single NFR that we have with the corresponding issue number, and underneath you have a list to upvote it or downvote it, and that is what creates the ranking that you see in this document. So if you saw here, Vault supported for embedding blocks has 14, and then embedded forms has 12, right? So if I go here to the Phalcon documentation, and if I scroll down, there's 14, 14, there you go. No, there you go. That's the one. That's this 14. Support for embedding blocks into other blocks. And then in the 12 part, where was it? 12. Forms, embedded forms. There you go. There's the embedded forms. So all these are listed according to what people have voted. And it gets updated every single time we update our documents, which is relatively often. So any of those that, if we have, let's say, an hour or two to work on the framework, we would work on these guys, the top ones. So ability to handle the request via PSR server request. Absolutely, definitely. That needs to be there, right? We need a PSR 7 stuff. But the thing is, the minute we have the PSR 7 stuff, that means that we have rewritten our whole HTTP layer, which is another NFR further down, right? So a lot of them are kind of like interrelated, but we're gonna be able to fix them. Some of them are, it's a little bit shameful to even admit this, but some of them are really, really old. So that's why the age here I have ancient, as you can see. So support for embedding blocks into other blocks is issue number 329. I mean, if you look at it, we're in the 14,000 something issue. So there's a lot of pull requests issues in between. This particular one that was submitted back then, of course, the embedded forms as well, 705. Look at this one, HTML option attributes by Phalcon Tag Select 899, and so on and so forth. So a lot of these guys are really old, and we're trying to get them sorted out. Many-to-many behavior, a router to generate a route with the host name. Redis cluster, this one I would love to do it, but I have no idea how to do it because I do not know how to install a Redis cluster on my machine. Because I have to do this on my machine, and then I have to be able to put it on GitHub Actions so that we can do something about it. We can write tests and everything works fine. So anyway, all these issues go here. So I'm gonna go further down. So the remove extra slashes was done. Okay. Add the merge mode for the model, skip attributes. That is awesome, Timur, but the problem is that this cannot happen right now. Alright, I'm gonna put it. You already done the many-to-many relationship save using PHP. That's great, Julius. By all means, man. If you want, share it. We'll translate it into PHP, into Zephyr, or you can translate it into Zephyr, or it can end up in the incubator. It's entirely up to you. If you don't want to share it, don't share it. But I'm just saying, there's plenty of ways to help the framework. For coming back to this one, I really need to put this into an NFR. So I'll copy this, and then I put it here, and then I put model, and then it's gonna be that. There. So I'm gonna comment on that. And then I'm gonna do this. There, and then I'm gonna close it. So you see that the reason we do this is to actually keep a good track of what's going on. So in these issues that you see here, a lot of them, if I go to page 5, if you see here, all these are all new feature requests that have been scheduled for 4.1. So it's pretty much this whole thing was scheduled for 4.1, and then we have again 4.1, maybe this, I don't know. We'll have a look about all of them. So all these are already in the pipeline, and of course you also have these guys that are coming up, you know, bug unverified, bug verified, and all that. We have to make sure that we search and we try to replicate exactly what the report of the issue is, and in order to do so we create a test, because if we create a test and then we can replicate the problem, then we can find it and fix it, and then we will have the test just in case that bug reappears in the future. Julius, thank you so much, buddy. I mean, again, no pressure, but if you want to share it, by all means, there's plenty of ways to do so. Whether this is the incubator, whether this is an effort to write in Zephyr, if you want help, more than happy to help you with that. So yeah, coming back to all of these, we just need to make sure that this list starts shrinking, because we start getting too many things in here, and having 100 issues is a little bit discouraging. That's why we brought all the NFRs into one spot, so that we can concentrate on what the community needs first and then keep on moving. I'm guessing if we get towards the 4.1 version with all the things that we want to build, this NFR list and this list in general of the issues will shrink significantly, and then it will be much easier for us to handle it, and not having to worry about all the bits and pieces that are going on here. We do have quite a bit of code. We have quite a bit of code that, for whatever reason, good, bad, ugly, whatever, it has not been thoroughly tested. Okay, there's a lot of tests that are missing from our code, especially from the ORM. And the ORM is very gentle, very interesting to say the least on how things are being done over there. But the key is that when something happens in the ORM, it's extremely difficult to replicate it and find it. I'll give you one example. There's one bug that I worked on one time. It took me close to 7 hours just to figure out exactly how things are flowing, how do they come in. And that was with my old computer, which was not compiling as fast as this one. But still, 7 hours is 7 hours lost. Lost meaning, of course, not lost wasted for the project. It's never a waste when you fix a bug, but lost because if we had the test, we could have picked that up a lot sooner rather than waiting for a report from somebody else. So yeah, that's the thing. So we need to put this here, assets, CSS and JS min. Okay, that one is there. And I'm gonna copy this. I think that this one, my personal belief on the CSS and JS min is that it shouldn't be in the framework at all, because that is a view layer issue. It's not a framework issue. So, and as far as this one is concerned, well, the problem is here the above copyright notice and its permission notice or whatever shall be included, blah blah blah. So even if you do include it, because we compile it, it's probably not going to work very well. I don't know the ins and outs of this this particular implementation. Honestly, I have no idea what the deal is with this. I mean, Douglas is very kind of, offering this to others, but I have no idea. Again, the reason I'm just talking about this, the CSS min and JS min, the story behind this is that we had this in there. We had the Douglas Crawford library, and somehow there was some sort of a conflict. I had no idea what it was. I caught the tail end of that argument, but Remy Colette, who maintains a very popular repository, the Remy repository for RPMs, actually brought this to our attention, and he said, "Hey guys, you have a license that it's not correct. Right? You're not either. We're not giving credit to the person, or we're not allowed to use it. Whatever. No." So the solution came with Remy intentionally removing those JS files and not allowing the Douglas's library to be in Phalcon, something like that, for that particular installation. So that was the temporary solution, and then right before 4, we made the decision. We said, we got to take this thing out because we wanted to get Phalcon into pair. And they would not allow us to get if there was some sort of a hiccup with the license. All right. So just to be on the safe side, we took that out, and then looking at it from a little bit of a perspective, having a CSS and a JS minifier is great, but that's not the purpose of the framework. The framework is supposed to be doing all the routing and all that stuff. It should not be doing the displaying, the viewing part. And what do I mean by this? The framework should actually offer a response of sorts, whatever that response is. Is that response going to be some let's say JSON script, JSON string, which would be an API response or an AJAX response? Would it be a string of HTML characters, which could be your page, and so on and so forth? Yes, that would be a response, but with today's technology, you should not keep the load of compressing a library, and compressing the library is going to be a one-off, right? The next time you deploy your application, because you're not doing as much of a deployment every single minute or every 2 minutes or every 10 minutes. You usually do it every day, 2 days, week, month, depending on how much you work. If you're working on the agile process, usually you do it every 2 weeks. So if you're doing that, and we have some sort of JS and CSS minifiers into Phalcon, you're using that part of the framework once every 2 weeks. That's pretty much it. You never use it again. So the question becomes, why should you even have that portion up there occupying memory in your web server, because it's part of Phalcon? Wouldn't it be easier to use services such as Cloudflare, which gives you automatic compression and decompression of libraries, JS and CSS, which you could do also? You could use CDN by JS Deliver or MaxCDN or others that could definitely help you deliver your content. Varnish is also another tool that you can use, and there's also CSS minifiers and JS minifiers that you can run with Gulp or any other tools right before you do the deployment. So this is going to be something that is going to be used only in a deployment. Why occupy X amount of bytes in an extension, ergo Phalcon, just for nothing, really? I mean, you can do everything. And yes, shell gulp sass, gulp clean css, and so on and so forth. These tools can be run with your pre-deployment scripts, but you don't really need a css cleaner. Again, that's my personal opinion, and I don't have a problem. But whoever wants to, here's another thing. If this becomes something that the community needs and wants, absolutely, we're gonna build it in, and we're gonna build it with our own application. But there's nothing stopping anyone from introducing this kind of functionality in the incubator. The incubator repository is pure PHP, and you can actually install it into your application using Composer, and it can actually give you some additional libraries or some additional functionality that others have written, and you can expand on. Okay, so enough with the blabber over there. Can we add a controller filter like CakePHP? I have no idea what the controller filter is, but let's see. I find okay, the before execute route. It looks for that. It seems as if with the events you can do what the gentleman wants, but yeah, you can do that definitely. Still, I mean, let's put that in there. So dispatcher, okay, comment, okay. Actually, on this one, the filter like CakePHP, one of the things that I've mentioned this before, we would like to move Phalcon using the ADR pattern. So action domain responder. So your responder will be what will be sent out to the caller, whoever called you. The domain would have, all your logic in there, and the action will be able to execute that. That should come with some sort of a introduction of middleware. I will be able to produce domain logic and move forward the response, whatever the response might be. Introducing middleware, though, would allow somebody to put a filter, as this issue demonstrates or requests. So you could turn around and say, okay, I created a brand new middleware. I'm going to be looking at what is coming in from the request, and depending on what I have, I'm going to be sending this with the response. So that's how we could do this. I'm thinking, if it is a PSR related, middleware, so it abides with PSR, we can definitely do something about this with regards to introducing a middleware, or even have let's say a repository of middleware that comes from the community that would allow you to just pick one up and put it in there. So this one is 3.4. I have no idea what to do here. We can do the apt mark, but I don't know enough for this, or just leave it. This is a must for the team. It's not necessarily something for the community to decide. This is something that has to be done. What Regan is saying here is that they try to upgrade something with Ubuntu. They tried to upgrade Ubuntu and it picked up version 4, and he wanted version 3.4 just to see whether the apt mark is. I don't know if you can force people to stop, or I don't know if you can make it so that things do not get upgraded until somebody really wants to upgrade something, but not sure. Rebind. I have no. Oh wow. Timur. Oh my gosh, this guy made a lot of work. There's a yeah. Okay, now I remember. Bleh. So I kind of like don't understand this. I just have to look at the tests before I understand this properly. And I don't know if the that's the thing. I love what Timur has done, but he created the issue and he created the implementation at the same time. And that's really not how NFRs are done. So NFR is, I create something, I put it for the consideration. If it's something that is desperately needed, yeah, absolutely, it's gonna get a little label and all that, and then you can work on it, or you can just send us a message saying, hey, any problem with working on this? Sure, no, go ahead, blah blah blah. But the point is, what if the team turns around and says, well, I don't know if this is really necessary, right? If the necessity is not 100%, if there is a reward for this, for the framework, then it has to go to the whole community for the community to vote for. And if you have created this and then you created the pull request as well, and what happens if the community says no? Well, that's not gonna work. So you see, it's kind of like a chicken and egg situation. I don't know. I need to read this about this. Add method to criteria interface. Alright, so this one is gonna be interesting. Gosh. The problem with this, it says add methods to the interface. This is the problem with this. We have released everything and it's version 4, right? Now, if we are to make any interface changes, we have to increment the version to version 5. Because this is going to be considered a breaking change. If somebody has created the criteria interface, if they have extended or implemented rather in a class the criteria interface, and we just then immediately and we add these methods in that interface, the next time they run something, their whole application will break. But if you make, and this is from 4.0 to 4.1 to 4.2, 3, whatever. If we go from 4.x to 5, then we can warn people and say, this is a breaking change. Have a look at this. You might need to adapt your code. And that's why I have big reservations about this. I'll just leave that for later on, just to ask the guys how we can do this. And if we really want to move into that, because there is the view that we're going to move our whole ORM from the active record that it is now to data mapper. So the MVC model criteria will probably not play any role whatsoever, but we'll see. We did mention, and I keep on saying this, and I'll keep on saying it, that if when we introduce the data mapper and the active record, both implementation will stay in the framework for at least one major version, right? And that would be to allow people to get their applications up to speed and use the new ORM, or to gather statistics about which one is faster and so on and so forth. One version is ample time for people to fix things or adapt their code, rewrite, refactor, whatever. What is criteria? Criteria allows you to perform queries in the database. So it's similar to a builder, where you build your query one step at a time. So this is my from, add a from this table, and then add a join, and then put a where clause. That's the criteria. It's building slowly the criteria for your query, the little chunks and parts of your query. Honestly, I have pretty much never used the criteria, ever. The only thing that I have used is either models straight up or the query builder, which is kind of like a way of using the criteria, but I've never used the criteria class ever. So it's either query builder or models straight up. That's me. I never saw the use for that. Alright, let me add this here to see what the community has to say as well. It does not hurt to have people heard. Alright, so actually, let me see something here. Validation interface. Where's the validation interface? Oh, this guy's right. Ugh, gosh, I need to fix this. Alright, so that one is gonna be, that's gonna break BC. Definitely, it's a bug. It's kind of like a low, I would say. I just leave it here. I don't know when we're gonna fix this. I'm just gonna put it in the backlog and see how we can pick this thing up. And then we need to say copy, and then not update styling, not this one, not this one. Okay, this one's going to be tracked there. This one says update styling component. We're using Bower. Alright, well, here's what I'm going to do is, because my buddy Rude knows more about Bower and everything like that, this one is going to be assigned to him. Actually, this might be a good little thing for anybody to have a look at this. So if you're really cool with using Bower or Yarn or NPM or whatever, so here's the deal with this part, the Bower and all that stuff. We use a remote dependency in the Phalcon debug component, and the debug component is this guy here. Right, and this one will be the debug component will actually help you by showing you pretty exceptions and all that stuff for your code, and it will actually halt your code so that you can see any problems. It must never ever be used for production. Okay. It takes a while to set it up. You know, you need to make sure that you have certain things, and as you can see here, we have a URI. It's assets.phalcon.io debug and all that stuff, and the resources that it uses are here. Okay. It from this URL, assets Phalcon.io debug, blah blah blah, it tries to load these Bower components. So jQuery UI, this default style, which I don't know what it is, and then the JS sources is the query, scroll to, prettify, and JavaScript. Okay. So what one could do is they could try and find what the best way of updating these things is. So you know, try and find this jQuery lightness. So the easiest way I would say is to just go and figure out where this thing is and download it into your code, and then upload it into the assets repository with a pull request, and then come over here and make a pull request so that you can correct the paths. And then once that is done, the same thing with jQuery min, the scroll to, and the prettify, and the pretty.js. I don't know what the difference is between the two. So you could do that. That would be an easy thing to do, but Ruud is going to take care of that, or somebody else. Move CI to that. Okay. We're still working on this. That's perfectly fine. And let's see, we used to have 111 open. Look at that, 109. Yay! So we're closing some issues. So var binary, yeah, we said we're gonna fix that. This one, I don't know. Make test suite PHP unit 9. Can you see a demo for the debug? Maybe. Give me just a sec. Alright, so in the debug repository. You can, in the documentation, the debug page, you can see that this is kind of like a GDB of where things happened. It will catch exceptions. I think we have something that will show this. So that constructor, alright, so there's a little video of how you can see that. I don't think it has any screenshots down here. Nope. So the video is on YouTube in our channel. There you go, setting up Phalcon debug in your application. So let me just copy this and I'll paste it here in the chat. So there's the video for the debugging. You can see how it looks. It's kind of like a Bootstrap E. Excuse me. So make testing suite PHP 9 compatible. This we'll have to wait until fall when PHP 7.2 is deprecated. Is POL. Alright, so Rude said that make the testing suite PHP Unit 9 compatible. So the assert internal type has been changed to assert is array or is string or is something. So you no longer use assert internal type. Now in Phalcon we use this for what is the 4 or 5 spots. We can change it to assert true, and then you have is string, and then your variable, which is pretty much what assert is string is for PHP Unit 9. And we'll probably do that so that we don't really rely on this. The reason that I'm just saying that it's 7.2 is because PHP Unit 9 works with 7.3, PHP 7.3. So you're not going to be able to run the PHP 7.2 tests without it. Okay, so that one can be there. Actually, I'll sign this myself. Excuse me. Let's put it there. Oops, did I take it off? Dang it. You know what, let's put it oh, current sprint ends March 21st. Oh man, forgot to change that. Excuse me. I'll put it into 4.6. I can fix that. Actually, you know what, let's fix it now. Why not? So we have assert internal type, right? So let's see, terminal. Oops. Let's get rid of this. So git br t. What is the name of the test? So 14837. 14837. 14837. Okay, so we created a new branch. Getting into the new branch. Alright, so all we have to do now is try and find assert internal type, because there's nothing else that we have that hurts us in terms of incompatibility with PHP Unit 9. Actually, let's go and search globally so that, no, it's only the test actually. There we go. assert internal. Alright, so we're gonna open in file window. Okay, this one says okay, these are the testers, so we don't really care about those. These are code exception ones, but we have here assert internal type equals integer. So what we can do is I assert true is int. There you go. So that's it. That's all we have to do. And then let's copy this. Might as well. Actually, it's replicated further down. Same thing. There you go. And then there you go too. And then here, so we need to do assert. How have you configured Vault files in PHP Storm? Yes, I'll show that again. And no, it's the same thing that you have shell. You go into file, you go into settings, settings, and then you go to file types. And the file types is here maybe? No. There you go, file types. It's under editor, file types, and then you go down there at the twig part and you just add Vault into it. That's pretty much it. There's no other thing that you can use. So this one becomes this object route, and then we copy it and we paste it here too. So those are done. In the parse test, we're gonna change and we're gonna make this, nope. It says here is array, and then there's our array, and then actually this one will be useful if we copy this, and then assert internal type is array. We need to do that with the views, and then here in the query sys, let's do the array part here. This one too. We need the object, so like that. Let's copy this again, go here, and then last part here. I mean, I could wait and not make these changes for until PHP 7.2 is completely end of life, and we put the same end of life in Phalcon, and then we make the necessary changes to upgrade to PHP Unit 9. But you know, I can just do this now, and it will kind of like safeguard me to future changes until something else comes up with a later iteration of PHP Unit or other libraries that we use, and we can definitely have a look at what is going on at that time. But for now, this particular change is going to help us be compatible with both. So this one needs to become an array. And there's one more here. again array here. Okay, so oh dang. There's quite a few of them. Alright. Alright, so these ones are in the actions, we don't care about those. These are commented out, these are the actions. So get rid of that, get rid of that, get rid of that. Alright, is internal type. Let's get that. Is string of version get ID, and that, and then that. Okay. And this one needs to be asserts true. And then we have another one. So assert true. There we go. So that one is done. Base 64 needs string again. Alright, these two need array. Array. Resource, okay. I'm just looking at what each of them is, so I can change them in bulk. So this one says is string. Let me copy this, and then we need one parenthesis here and one there. Just have to figure out where the strings are, and just get them out of the way. And then I'm going to do the same thing with the object ones and then the array, because that's pretty much what the bulk of them are. Honestly, I don't really like this test because it just tells you that, hey, I got a string, and you're like, all right, well, good for you, but you know, well, what is the string for? Is it the same as what you expect to get, and so on and so forth. So there's one string here that we can get back. There's a lot of arrays there. Let's see this one. Array, 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 integer. Oh wow. Okay. Let's see, do we have okay. Another integer here. Objects, double. Oh wow. Okay, just leave that there. More doubles. Okay, so these are the double ones. There's another one. Okay, so we have other stuff here. String. Oh. Okay, so that one's done. View exists, again string. More stuff here. And then we have the object ones that are left. And then the arrays. You can tidy up with those. Not many more to go. Should be getting close to the end. And then run the suite and just make sure that everything is fine. And then that would be an easy issue to fix. It's just a little bit time consuming to get everything sorted out. So this one we do not care about that. So this is assert true, and then is object of this. And then we're going to copy that, and then we're going to go here. So we're going to find this. There is internal type. Guys, do you have any questions you might want? I'm just, typing along here. I see our viewership is going down a lot. People are probably going to bed. Oops. Wow, we're at 2 hours and change here, blabbering. Time flies when you're having fun, guys. So another one here. Subject. Alright, so that one is done. This one is array. 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 More arrays. Array. Object. Here it is. Oh, this is cool. Because I can do a replace here. Ta-da! Already done. And then one more down here with a property. And then close it. Okay. Here. Good night, Shell. Have a good one, buddy. Thanks for stopping by to say hi. So object, and then get available ciphers is array. This one is array 2. This one is object. Okay, we need that. And then another one here, another object. And then we have one more here. Okay. I don't know why we ever did this thing here. The response. I mean, it's less than 80. Less than 80 characters. I mean, you can easily read this, but I have no idea why we did this in the past. So we're going now to cookies, which is array, and we should be nearly done with this thing. This is tests. Okay, assert internal type. This one's all commented out, we don't care. So all we have to do is just find the arrays, right? Okay, let's rerun the thing, and we just find all the arrays. Is array. So we copy that, and then we do this, that. Okay. Another one. so this is gonna be really easy to do, haha. Because you do this and you do the column for PHP Storm. And you paste, and then you put the last parentheses, and then you're good to go. You just finished all of those. One here. This is the ciphers. And the hashes. Algos rather. Algorithms. And then here are the cookies. Cookies. Just make sure that everything is okay. So these are the testers, we don't care about those. These are testers generated, this is commented out, and these are all testers. So there you go, that's the thing, the whole thing, changing that. And all we have to do now is go to changelog. And we're gonna do fixed, we're gonna put here, so fixed testing suite to work with PHP unit 9 when read. So this number is gonna be 1, what? So my terminal down here. So 14837. Push minus U origin T 14837. There you go. So that one is sent upstream. It will be sent to my fork. So if I go up here, it's gonna be Needin C Phalcon, and you see Tina blah 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 a minute ago, and then if I go to actions, it should be running, and all I have to do is just wait until this whole thing runs. I have a feeling that it's not gonna be running correctly, and I really hate that feeling. No. So where is it? Vendor bin PHPCS. I have a feeling that it's gonna fail on the static analysis. Yeah, there you go, there's an error. Okay, that's fine. It can break on the static analysis. The annoying thing is it fires up Upveyor as well, and Upveyor is gonna start complaining about different things that we have or we have not. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come here and just make sure that all of our tests are pristine. So I'm gonna go reformat code with that. 18, 19, 20, 21. Yeah, I there's the X here. That's fine. Okay, so I'm gonna run this analysis over here, and then I'm gonna do the same thing with integration, database, and CLI when I run this. So it should take a while for this to finish. What happens here? PHP Storm goes and slowly puts things into perspective, so to speak, makes things a little bit nicer. For instance, it will align your equal signs. It would make sure that you follow your code sniffer preferences. One of the things that I usually do is make sure that everything is in camel case. There is a trailing comma in the last element of an array, stuff like that. Just prettifying your code. It's not making it bad, or it's not hurting it or anything like that. So once this thing is done, actually, let me cancel this. I know how you feel. I coded for the fourth. Good night, Hashin. Yes. I coded for the fourth night, and a lot of things fringe not fixed. Yeah, it is what it is. And actually, Oleg, that's a good idea. I need to get a drink. So my coffee's done. So this is the CLI. Alright, I'm gonna wait for this to finish, and then I'm gonna put the thing to run on the unit once, and I'm gonna go and grab some coffee and come down. So when it's done, what we're gonna do is we're gonna run PHP CBF, which is the code sniffer's correction mechanism, if you like. It corrects mistakes, so to speak. If you look at this one, that it says found one error, affected one line, header blocks must be separated by a single black line. PHP CBF will fix that for you, so you don't have to actually go and do all these things. There were a number of those. I'm not sure if I can scroll up or down or something. Alright, so we're getting there. Alright, so that one is done. Let me hook it up to the unit, and I'll be right back, guys. Let me just get some more coffee. All right, I am back with a lot of coffee and a little bit of banana bread in my stomach. I guess my wife is trying to make us all fat. Right, so code coverage. Let's see what happened here. Did we have an issue with running? Yes, we did. So some tests failed. There's one here. Stream close. Okay, we just need to figure that out. Maybe that is resource we were trying to find, or is object or something. So we still have a little bit of work to do with this bug. Oops. Wrong thing that I clicked. So Hash, how are my children? They're doing well. They're all upstairs. They're just running around. Today is Good Friday here. So other than the coronavirus, or Wuhan virus, whatever you want to call it, that they didn't have school activities for today, they're not going to have any on Monday. Now, the funny thing is that we're Greek Orthodox, so today's not our Good Friday, and this weekend is not our Easter. Our Easter is 1 week later. And some of my friends from Eastern Europe and a little bit to the right, as you look at the map, will attest to that. We're kind of like on the same schedule, if you like. So it's always interesting to see the little differences, the subtle differences that exist between countries. But yeah, they were sitting upstairs, they were playing some Roblox and all that. And I think my middle daughter was cooking with her mom the banana bread. So yeah, doing well. I was at work, I was fighting with the testing suite. The one thing that I have to say to everybody that is working, please always create your tests in isolation. So if you run a test and you run it on its own and it passes, and you run it within a suite and it passes as well, then you're good to go. Because if one of your tests relies on some other test, then you have a serious problem. And we have that in Phalcon, right? We have that serious problem in Phalcon. That's why you will notice that we made some changes, and probably our code coverage has dropped a little bit because we kind of like disabled certain tests. As you can see here, I mean, this is processing right now, but it's fine. You see here it says to check database, right? Well, in here we have a lot of database tests in terms of model tests, criteria tests, query tests, all sorts of tests that have to do with a database. And a lot of those tests were relying on the tables that exist in the database. Some of the tables that are in the database, you will notice that are just crazy. I guess, you know, things just happened the way they did happen as the project evolved. So let me see if I can open a recent one from here. Let me open this. Okay. Let me show you. I'm waiting for PHP Storm to finish there, but I'm going to show you here something really interesting. So the to-check database, as you can see, we need to check the validation, the MVC ones, forms, and some database ones. And the database has quite a few of them. So all these have to be rechecked and rewritten, so to speak. But the craziness is somewhere here. Where's the fixtures, I think, or data? Nope. There is an import somewhere. Just trying to find it. Sorry, guys. Maybe schema somewhere here, or TB. Actually, I know how to get it. So if I go to CI, go to now generate DB schemas. No, these are the migrations. We need this one. So it's data assets DB. Okay, that's where it's at. So data assets DB. Okay, so these are the schemas that we have for the databases. So if I open one of them, the MySQL schema, you're gonna see, you see here, there's, you get to, come on, man. You get to the table that says personas, and I don't know if you notice here on the right side, this big gutter, the number of records is kind of crazy. So we add, I don't know how many records here, and then we add some more, and then we add, I think that's where it's finished, and then we have personas. It's a different, and then we add even more records into that, and so on and so forth. And then you have tipo, and tipo gets around what, 2,000 records in here, close to, yeah, 19999. So that one gets another 2,000 records in it, and so on and so forth. The problem is not that you're adding so many records. The problem is that you get to the point in some of the tests, and they say, okay, run count, for instance, in this table, and you should have 1,999, or run count with these kind of parameters, and you should have, let's say, 2,374. That does not work very well. You should write your test in isolation, meaning that your table is empty. When you run the test, right before the test, you insert 5,000 records, and then you run your query with a count with whatever parameters you want to get, and that's when you get the 2,700, whatever number that you expect to get. And then when you finish your test, the table is cleaned. The reason being is that if you have all that ready there, then your tests rely on what the database has. And if for whatever reason, right before your count, you have an insert that was not cleaned up, your test will fail, and you wouldn't know where it came from. And it's fine if you have one test for insert and one test for count, but what happens if you end up having 1,000 tests all over the place that do various inserts from wherever, and then you try to do the count and you don't know where it came from? So we had something similar at work, where all of a sudden one record changed. An employee record changed, the supervisor changed for whatever reason, and all of a sudden the suite started failing. And it took us a long time. Luckily, one of my colleagues, actually two of my colleagues, managed to figure it out. It was the activate deactivate employee part, which you wouldn't notice, you wouldn't go and look at it, but it was deactivating the employee and activating the employee again, and as such, by doing that, you actually remove the supervisor, and that was an aftermath of whatever we had. So we could have done this in two ways. One, make sure that the employee that we're working on is a temporary employee, not somebody that's already in the database. So that was part number one. And the second one is we could have saved the employee right before we run the test, save all the data, and then once the test is finished and we got our searches, restore all that data in the database for the employee. So a couple of places that we could have done something, but we never did really. So yeah, try and get your tests to be isolated. It's really, really difficult 6 months down the line when all of a sudden you have something that fails in somewhere that you never expected it to fail before. So it shouldn't take that long. We're nearly there, and then we got the database is easy and the integration is not that much, so it shouldn't take more than a few minutes to do that. And then we can run PHP CBF to just correct any hiccups, any issues. And then we should be okay. Alright, why are the two folders helper and helpers, not just one folder? Where is that? Where is that hash? There's a helper folder, definitely somewhere in the support, I think, but I don't remember. So where did that catch your eye? Was it when we were doing the find replace? The CI. Alright, give me a sec, let this thing finish. Actually, maybe I have it open. Yeah, it's here. So under CI, we have what? We have a nanobox. Pictures. Helper and helpers. Okay, I got you. It was under the fixtures. Okay. Alright, so here's the difference, and we kind of like need to refactor this a little bit. Alright, helper is the class namespace. So you see here it says filter, so it will be Phalcon/filter, and then for here will be Phalcon/forms. So in here will be Phalcon/helper, and then it will have the JSON fixture. This is the JSON fixture that I wanted. Okay, so this one relates directly to to the Phalcon/helper class, and we do this in order to have fixtures for that particular class only. Helpers is another folder that in the end it will be refactored, and we'll just make sure that everything is out of here. that has certain classes, helping classes that allow us to test. So to give you an idea, this tag setup class is something that we extend, and when we want to test something with a Phalcon tag, and what it will do is it will run this before, it will create a new DI, it will create a new escaper and URL containers, services, and then it will have everything set for you before you run your tag test. So these are kind of like helping abstract classes, so to speak, or classes that you will extend from. Maybe I should have done them abstract, but it's fine. Whereas this one relates to only the helper namespace class, Phalcon helper. And these are just fixtures, things that help us with our tests. Alright, let's do quickly the database, and then PHP-CBF is our next thing. Should be finishing very quickly, this one. So let's see, Transnate native array. Variable substitution. Some of these tests we'll have to figure out what they really do. I mean, I remember this part. I wrote that years ago, and the reason I know why I wrote it, because I was listening to the song Dust in the Wind by Kansas, so that's when I wrote this. And this, the gettext helper, definitely I did not write these tests, somebody else from the team wrote them, because I don't remember these. And then the CSV helper, there you go, Ivan wrote those. Oh, look at that, 2014. Oh my gosh. 5.5 years ago. Way to go, buddy. And then the tag setup and the tag helper, these are things that I need to figure out. Now, the other thing is that tag will be dying soon-ish, slowly-ish, or something. And, slowly we'll just replace it with the tag factory, which will be under HTML. But for now, we can just keep them and do some things. Yeah, there's some commits here that are from 2012, I think, or maybe a little bit later. When did I start with Phalcon? I don't remember. I think one of those was the first one. This is 18. No, these were changed. Definitely not 18. These were written way before. I don't know how to get the, what you call it, the Git part here, so I can show you. I know it in PHP Storm, but I don't know it here. So, alright, let's do the last one, which is integration. To do that, so it should be coming up. So now that you said it, let's find something. Out of curiosity, let's see, grep -r 2012 tests. Oh wow, look. Ta-da! Okay, so note on this one, the schemas have some 2012s. Extend volt. Alright, so look at this. We do have tests from there. Oh my gosh, look at that. We need to refactor these tests. I know you cannot see it very well. It's a little bit weird to see it, but the transaction manager. There you go. Tag, append title, and test. So let's open that. So tag, append title, sust. There you go. There's a test for you. 2012-09-15. So that's 8 years, 7.5 years old, closing in into 8. And this is why we use the tag setup, because it will set up your tag environment. You can use tag with it, with a DI container and all that stuff. So also with prepend title is the same. Events, config, integration, some integration tests. I don't know if there's anything with 11. There are some, but I don't know if they're tests. Definitely we had some, if you look at the population scripts in the database, definitely some people were doing those then in 2011. Somewhere here. Yeah, there's the 2011. Not these ones, not these ones. These are just some stuff. This is copyright. Copyright. We need to figure out the copyrights. Just fix them all. These are to check. de-accessed. Oh, these are just the copyrights. I don't think we have any tests running. This is the schema. Yeah. So yeah, I think 2012 is the earliest test that you can find. I don't think that there's anything else. Oh wow, there's some 10 here. I don't think there's anything else here, honestly. While we wait for the integration tests. Oh gosh. Inserting the personas. Yeah. There are some, but I doubt there are tests, honestly. You see, these are just schemas. So yeah, 2009, 2010. Again, these are just schemas. I have those dates. You don't have a since into the test. Although we did write tests back then, I don't think we were keeping them with a since dog block tag. Yeah, there's nothing there. Not even this, the validate test, that doesn't work. So plus, oh, I forgot, plus back then we also had different testing suites. It was unit-text, unit-test, the way that we had it back then, and then we changed it into tests, and then there was something else as well. So we had 3 different folders that were running tests at the same time. And when I started working a little bit more towards the project, that must have been around 2012, 13, somewhere there. Then I started introducing co-deception in it. Excuse me. And we were using all sorts of good techniques to just get the testing suite going. But it was pretty much take these tests and convert them to the new format. And I was just solo. I couldn't do more. And tests we kept on changing and changing and changing and changing. Later on, somebody helped. I don't remember who it was, but somebody did help a lot with all these tests. And right on the version 3, that's when we managed to pretty much get rid of most of them. And version 4, we pretty much had only one suite. with everything right. And now we're taking advantage of the suite even more because we managed to introduce multiple databases and multiple groups and databases based on the environment that we set. So now we can run pretty much all tests on 3 different RDBMSs, and the goal is to have potentially Microsoft as well, Microsoft SQL Server, and then that would be another goal to run those tests against that too. So if you have a simple statement or a bug that was reported for some statement against something, then you can run that test against all your databases and see how it behaves on all 3 or 4. So that's the idea. Now there is I know that there is a difference between MySQL and MariaDB, and also MySQL 8 or something, the newest one. That one has differences. So by making this change to our code so that it processes and runs different environments, allows us to expand it even more and start testing on different RDBMSs. So we could potentially test it against, let's say, Postgres 9, Postgres 10, Postgres 11, 12, 13, 14. I don't know if there is 9, 8, 11, 20 or whatever. But I'm just making a point that you can now diversify in terms of which database you're going to run your tests on, or you can run it on all with just a simple environment file that will give you the connection information. And with GitHub Actions, we could potentially pull a brand new image for the new database and then just run all the tests over there. So that would be a great thing to do. Come on, man. Run. Yeah. Any other question, guys? We're on. We're nearly 3 hours in here, so I know some people have gone to sleep. Actually, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to cancel this. Alright, so that's run. And now all I have to do is phpcb. Oh, no. I need to run the CBF so that it cleans it up. Any little mistakes that happened. And once this cleans it up, then our static analysis passes, and then what we're going to do is we're going to find the test that failed and fix it, and we're going to be good to go. And then we're going to issue the pull request. Hash, and yes, yeah, that's a normal thing for people to do. First of all, you start learning, and then you say, okay, well, I might as well create this little function. Oh gosh, 2:30. Go to bed, man. Have some wine. You got a lot of wine there in France, and a good one. So, so yeah, what I was saying is usually that's what happens. People tend to find little pieces of code, little snippets of code that do help them. So you will have your let's say your login function, your streams, your this, your that, your the other, and you create a little arsenal of tools. Well, once your arsenal of tools starts becoming kind of like a burden to maintain, or when you find a framework that already has the things that your arsenal, your little toolkit already does and more, then you switch to that framework. There's no point for you to maintain 2 databases. One is your app and one is your framework. Two code bases, not databases. So It's a lot of these things that you have to think when you're doing what you're doing. So HTTP, we need what? HTTP message stream. Message stream and then close. Okay, so this one says that it fails on line 40. And this is line 40. So the question is, what were you before? Let's annotate. So this one was assert internal type research with handle. So what would is this a wrong test? Looks like it. So we open we have a file, we open it, and then we pass the handle to the stream, and then we close the stream, and this one should be false, right? Should be. So let's verify this with the code just in case. So HTTP message stream and close. So if we get the stream, this is where we store our handle, and then when we do close, we close the handle. And we don't return anything. That should work. Where's my terminal? So let's see. Alright, should be okay in a minute. Security, there we go. So tests are done. Alright, so this is the deal, man. Or guys, all three of you, four. Whoever's watching right now. I guess everybody's kind of like exhausted. Alright, so we actually sent another push-up stream. What it's going to do is going to run the static analysis first, which we already fixed with PHP-CS. Then we have fixed the test that was wrong with regards to the stream, and then what this is going to do is going to run all the tests. We expect them to pass. And what's going to happen is after that we're going to issue a pull request, and that's it. That would be the fixing of the issue. As you can see, it's not as easy to fix bugs. You have to wait a little bit. It's one thing to fix a bug, it's another one to wait for the testing suite to finish. So it is what it is. Alright, and we are at 3 hours. This has been a long hangout. Thank you to everybody that stood here and just had a little chat. If you guys have any questions, now is the time to ask them. Alternatively, I'm just gonna bid you adieu, as my friend Hash would say there, and say good night, and we'll see each other very soon, most likely again this week coming for another hangout. Okay? And yeah, I know we have a delay, so I'm gonna wait a few minutes until everybody replies or even says good night before we do anything. Okay? Alright, guys, thank you so much. Have a blessed evening. Happy Easter to those that are observing it in a few days, a couple days or less. Stay safe, keep your loved ones safe, and we will talk soon, okay? Good night.